Have you ever heard of love stories that seem impossible? But what about when the impossible happens in real life? Get ready for a story that will challenge your beliefs, defy stereotypes, and show how love can come in ways you never imagined. She, a woman considered outside the conventional standards of beauty, did something no one would believe. She married a white billionaire and completely changed the course of her life. But what happened behind the scenes of this relationship will leave you speechless. Stay with me until the end to discover how this story, which no one imagined, became one of the most talked about stories in the world. Maria had always been an ordinary woman, with a big heart and a captivating personality. She didn't have the perfect body, but she was intelligent, funny, and full of life. Raised in a small town, her life had always been simple. She studied a lot, dedicated herself to work, and spent most of her time alone, away from relationships. She believed she would never find a man who would accept her as she was, with all her insecurities and body image complexes. At that time, she was 26 years old and began to think that maybe love wasn't for her. The pressure from society to be perfect, to have the dream body and appearance that everyone expected, made her feel more and more invisible. However, Maria knew that her worth was in her intelligence, courage, and empathy. On an autumn evening, she decided to attend a networking event. This was her chance to finally expand her professional horizons. The event was held in a sophisticated hotel, the kind of place Maria never imagined she would frequent. There, among influential and rich people, she felt a little out of place. However, something unexpected happened. She met Henry Carlton, a man who seemed as out of reach as the stars in the sky. Henry was the owner of one of the largest technology companies in the world, and he was at the event to look for new business opportunities. He was tall, with a well-tailored suit and a posture that exuded confidence. The others around him seemed to treat him like a celebrity. He was a billionaire, the kind of man Maria never imagined she would meet in person. When he approached her, Maria was speechless. "You seem calm amidst all this chaos. You don't really care about what's going on around you?" Henry asked, with a charming smile. Maria, always sincere, replied, "I'm the type who prefers to observe and listen. It seems the world becomes clearer that way." The conversation flowed naturally. They talked about various topics, from their careers to their life perspectives. Maria didn't feel intimidated by his wealth or status. She was just being herself, not worrying about anything other than being true to herself. After that encounter, Henry and Maria began talking more frequently. He reached out to her on social media, curious about her and her worldview. The conversation shifted from casual messages to deeper discussions about topics like society, self-esteem, and the pressures people face to conform to standards that are often unattainable. Maria began to feel more comfortable with Henry. He seemed genuinely interested in her, not in her appearance, but in who she was inside. Over the course of several weeks, they exchanged messages, and soon began meeting more often. Henry, with his power and influence, seemed to have life under control, but he was becoming more and more attracted to Maria's unique perspective on the world. Maria, on the other hand, started questioning whether it was possible for such a successful man, with so many options, to truly be interested in her. She was attracted to him, but couldn't help but wonder, what does he really see in me? Does he love me for who I am, or is he just playing around? On a particularly difficult day, Maria had a moment of insecurity. She didn't know if she was ready to enter into a relationship with a man of such a different status. She was afraid of being rejected, of being seen only as a woman who didn't fit society's norms. But Henry was there for her, always supporting her. In an honest conversation, Henry told her, "I fell in love with who you are. And that's all that matters. I don't care about your body, your appearance, or what people think. I see you, Maria, and that's what makes me want to be with you." With those words, Maria began to realize that maybe she had been building barriers between them because of her own insecurities. She was starting to understand that love wasn't about meeting a standard, but about being true to oneself and being accepted for who you truly are. Their relationship intensified. Henry was more in love with Maria every day, and she also felt that she had found someone with whom she could truly build something lasting. But when news of their relationship spread, the reactions from people were nothing short of shocking. "Why her? She's not even pretty," some said. "He must be just playing with her. It doesn't make sense for a man like him to choose a woman like her," they whispered on social media. The word spread quickly, and the pressure on Maria increased immensely. She began to question everything again. Was she really worthy of a man like Henry? Henry, on the other hand, wasn't concerned with external judgments. He loved her unconditionally and, instead of succumbing to the criticism, decided to show the world that their love was real. He spoke publicly about her, saying, "Maria is the most genuine person I've ever met. She doesn't need to fit anyone's standards. She's perfect for me." Even with this support, Maria knew she would have to face an internal battle. Being judged for her appearance, her weight, and society's expectations was something that affected her deeply. She began to question whether she would have the courage to continue with the relationship or if it would be easier to give up. But then she realized something fundamental: she had already taken the first step to freedom by accepting who she truly was. There was no turning back. With Henry's support, Maria overcame her insecurities and decided not to let the comments from others define her fate. When Henry proposed, she felt a whirlwind of emotions. She never imagined that someone like him, with so many options, would choose her so sincerely. She was in shock, but at the same time, something inside her told her that this was the next step in her journey. Their wedding wasn't what people imagined. They didn't follow the traditional protocol of big, luxurious weddings. There wasn't a giant party, nor a parade of celebrities. They wanted something intimate and personal. The wedding took place on a small, deserted beach, with just a few friends and family. A place where they could just be themselves, without the expectations of a superficial world. Maria was radiant. Not just because she was marrying the man she loved, but because she had finally freed herself from external expectations and fully accepted herself. She knew that Henry loved her for who she truly was, and that made her feel more secure than ever. Today, Maria and Henry live a happy life, away from the spotlight. They married not because they were perfect in the eyes of others, but because they accepted and loved each other genuinely. Maria, now, is a more confident woman. She understands that love isn't about fulfilling an ideal of perfection, but about being true to yourself and to the one you love. She has learned that the world will always try to shape you, but what matters is who you choose to be and who you choose to love.